What up, y'all? Welcome back to another session of Sports Talk49 with yours truly, Lake Anthony, here to give you my thoughts on the game. As you see it, week 14 recap, talking about the Bucs versus Raiders. Raider invasion, as you see the title. Raiders invasion leads to first in the NFC South. So let's talk about that as entirety. The Raiders come in. The quarterback situation's crazy. You got to see two quarterbacks. Aiden O'Donnell, hopefully he's going to be okay. He had put a leg immobilizer on him. He had to leave the game via the cart. Don't want to see that for any player. I don't care who it is. Saints, Panthers, Falcons, anybody. I don't like to see that with anybody because at the end of the day, they're just players playing, and they don't deserve to be have broken bones and things like that. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people that probably do deserve stuff like that, but you just don't want to see that. And then you got to see Desmond Ridder, who you're familiar with in the Atlanta Falcons recently in past years. So the Raiders are the Raiders. Brock Bowers is a real deal. Bucs locked him down pretty good, took away their main threat, and were forced to go elsewhere with the ball, which they don't have much options since the exit of Devontae Adams to the New York Jets. And the Bucs were pretty solid on defense. It was the offense that was a little shaky, and I know people don't want to talk bad about the offense, which they're so comfortable talking bad about the defense, but it is what it is. They were bad in this game. They played down to their competition. And let's just take a look at the box score. Oh, shame on me. I didn't have it ready already. Just give me 1 second when we pull up the box score to that. I don't want to share the audio. There it is. Now let me pull up on the screen so you guys can see it. All right, so let's take a look at it. Let me go back to the screen. Aiden O'Donnell, of course, 11 for 19, 104, and 1 interception. Baker Mayfield, 18 for 29, 295 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Sincere McCormick, the running back, 15 carries, 78 yards. Bucs hold another running back under 100 yards rushing. Rashad White led the day with the backs, 17 for 90 and a touchdown. Michael Mayer, the other tight end, 7 receptions, 68 yards. Cade Otton, 3 receptions, 70 yards. What did Brock Bowers finish? 3 receptions for 49 yards, pretty much kept him contained. So Michael Mayer was the other guy. And Jacoby Myers, number 16, 6 receptions for 67 yards. Pretty much everybody else was non-existent. 2 for 11, 2 for 7, 1 for 6, and 1 for -3. That's pretty much what it was. Baker Mayfield, we went over that. Sean Tucker, 3 for 47, 1 big run at the end of the game. Mayfield, 2 rushes for 12 yards. Bucky Irving, 4 attempts for 3 yards, went out with a back injury. We'll talk about that later. Like I said, Cade for 3 and 70. Mike, 4 for 69. He's kind of below what they needed each game. They're going to pretty much bottle them up. Sterling Shepard, 4 for 63. Jalen McMillan, pretty much the story of the day, 4 for 59, 2 touchdowns. Rashad White, 1 on the ground and 1 on the air, 2 for 19 and a touchdown. So, like I said, they're interchangeable, those two guys. Everybody who wants to put the Irving over White, and they're like the White project. I'm like, the dude has been producing. He just don't. It's not as explosive as it is with Bucky. His is consistently good. It's just not as explosive. We got to remember, he's 6'2". Bucky's like 5'7". McCollum led the day, six tackles. Could have had a pick, dropped it. Levante had a sack early in the game. Kayvon Merriweather had a sack. Tyke Smith had a game-sealing, well, I ain't going to say change momentum pick. Raiders were coming in possibly to take the lead, and Tyke was able to come in and get an interception down in the goal line. For the Bucs defense forced the pressure, and Tyke was able to jump in front of the route and make an INT. So I said we're going to touch on the injuries. It just came up via Bleacher Report, ESPN. Antoine Winfield is going to miss a couple weeks with a knee sprain. It just never ends with the secondary, especially the safeties. It never ends. And the fact that you can get any type of production out of guys you got playing all over the place who wasn't playing all year long is amazing. And then you don't really have a pass rush to cope with that. So, and then you got the Chargers coming up week. Don't know if Lade McConkley is going to play. They're the star wideout out of Georgia. Kid's been balling out. They're going to have to find some weapons. Not sure how long he's going to be out. I got Derwin James and those guys coming out next week. And Baker's been on a little tandem throwing some interceptions. Derwin's going to look to try to make a play on that. Baker can do his best to not turn the ball over. Because the offense had, 3 turnovers, just dampened their offense. I mean, they did. I said it like I said the Panthers, but they did everything in their power on offense to put the Raiders back in the game. They did. They did everything in their power to put the Raiders back in the game, from the turnovers to doing pre-snap penalties. And it's just some of the things in the turnovers you don't expect to be happening at this week 14 in the season. You don't expect to see this happening. And I don't know where the miscommunication is. Baker's a veteran. He's not no rookie. Some of the things that's happening, he's got to correct himself. That's what leaders do. That's what everybody harped on, how good Tom Brady was, the way he commanded from the offense, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, Bowles does one thing, but your signal caller and play caller is another. That's why they get paid that much money. You're supposed to be able to manage these things, get these guys right, make sure that everybody's on the same page, pre-snap to post-snap. It's week 14. You got to know that. I'm not one of those guys going to sit here and say bench, cut Baker. He's been serviceable, and now I've always gave him his props for when he plays well, and I get on him when he don't. And he kind of put the team in a bad situation with turnovers, and then the offense, the other guys didn't help with pre-snap penalties. That's just what happened. That's not biasism. That's not anything. It's just what's happened. Defense showed up. Even with all the injuries, they showed up, made plays. I know somebody will just say it was the Raiders, but it's still an NFL offense, and they can win games in this game. They just went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs not too long ago. It happens. It just all depends on matchups, game plans, and people taking advantage of mishaps in the game. That's the way football is played. That's just the way it is. And you can't really do, you can control what you control, and you can't control what you can't control. You just gotta weather the storm. The Bucs moved. Most importantly, the Bucs moved to 7-6, first place in the division. Falcons are on a losing slide currently. There's people that are happy about the Bucs winning, and then there's people that are fans that are not happy about the Bucs winning. Again, I said before, the problem isn't with the team; it is with that individual. For whatever reason, they're not happy. Moved to first place, got a chance to keep moving forward. Who do the Falcons play next week? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the schedule next week. Who the Falcons, because we all know the Bucs play the Chargers. So let's take a look who the Falcons play. And the Bucs got 2 games on the road. The Falcons play the Raiders Monday night. Not sure how that'll turn out, but they go to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. We'll see how that turns out. Bucs could gain if the Raiders win and the Bucs beat the Chargers. They could gain another game advantage over the Falcons, which would help at any point to gain as much ground on your division, to whoever's close to you, as possible. So I know the Bucs fans are going to be pretty much Raider fans that Monday night game, watching the Falcons play the Raiders. And Kirk Cousins has been on throwing an interception tandem thus far in December. Excuse me. So we'll see how that goes. It's really not much to it. It just was the offense kind of being set back. Antoine Winfield with the injury, Bucky Irving with the injury. Not sure how that's going to work out. I know a lot of you guys want Bucky to get a lot of carries, but that's what happens when a little guy gets a lot of carries. Not really built like that. Got to reserve him, plug and play him in at key situations and things like that, and kind of preserve him for the long run. You don't want Bucky coming into the playoffs hurt when you need him the most to show up and play. So we'll see how that looks. People wanted Sean Tucker. They're going to get a chance to see Sean Tucker. But it's going to really dampen the offense not having both of them out there, because you can run screens, one guy in the backfield. You have a lot of option running that RPO-style offense with your 2 backs running an option-style, college offense at that point. As I said earlier, don't know if you guys missed it, what they pretty much have done is used Rachaad White and Bucky Irving as the Chris Godwin guy in that slot, catching those screen passes and making those outside runs, making guys miss. That's pretty much what they've turned that into. and it has worked thus far. Great job by Todd Bowles and the coaching staff, Lee and Cohen, an offensive coordinator, keeping these guys heads high, had confidence still strong in them, being when everything was bad with the usual Tampa Bay media being Tampa Bay media, plugging the negativity around the team, trying to create some type of turmoil with coaches being fired, some of the fans doing what they do best, panic when things don't go their way. And when all that happened with all the outside noise, this team kept themselves together. This team kept themselves moving forward, and now they're sitting first place at 7-6, having a chance to go 11-6 and run the table. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm sure not everybody's going to be happy, but it is what it is. You got to remember where this team was. This team was not set to win very many games post Tom Brady. Cap problems, picked up a journeyman quarterback, was worried about signing your veteran players. You're able to do that, get the best out of Baker Mayfield, get a coordinator, then became a head coach, then picked up another coordinator that had continuity. The things that Todd Bowles and Jason Light have done with what they have gotten has been anything short but amazing. Everybody talks about being mediocre and everything. That you got to look at the roster for face value. They put a lot of investments into the offense. That's why I give a lot of crap to the offense, because they've invested so much into the offense. That's why you're scoring this many points. They've invested. Their investments have not hit on defense. The times it did, you won a Super Bowl. You went deep into the playoffs. You had a chance you won the division all those years when you invested into your pass rush with Sue, Shaq Barrett, and Jason Pierre-Paul. And all these guys, when you picked up actual edge rushers where you can get a double-digit sack guy on your roster. That's what they got to get back to. You got to get back to being able to get after the quarterback before. This team cannot get after the quarterback before. They're forced to have to blitz, and you don't have the guys back in the secondary. Well, you got your two outside corners, but they run a 3-safety set usually. You got people playing out of position. Izzian's playing safety, knowing he's a nickel cornerback. You got guys all over the place playing out of position and playing spots that they normally and put in predicaments that they would, playing man coverage, and they're not man coverage safeties. It's just you've had to make so much adjustments on that defense. And I know the top people who don't like Todd Bowles are going to give him zero credibility and zero slack on the injuries, which is fine. That's just who they want to be. That's why I haven't harped on Baker with your offense missing with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans were out. They were still able to put up the points, but it wasn't at the rapid pace that they needed to put it at. But they were still able to, and that's going on coach and quarterback, knowing the game plan, executing the game plan, and the defense has to do such, plugging and playing. Game teams are taking advantage where you're weak at. That's just what happens, and you have to ride that storm. You're not like the expectations of some people. You're just going to go out and just stonewall people. You're not going to do that in this league. It's an offensive-friendly league. They call pass interferences basically all the time. Can't touch the quarterback. It's set up for offenses to succeed. And you just got to weather the storm, take your chances when you get a turnover. Don't create dumb penalties. You can control those kind of things that you can control. And then you got to make one or two stops. Like this defense, all you got to do is rely on them to make a couple stops in the game or get a turnover, and you got to capitalize on them. That's the team that they are right now with the injuries and everything happening. They got to ride the storm. They can't let offenses just run buck wild on them and then force the offense to have to do everything. You can't do that. They got to help each other at this point because they're both experiencing injury. They're both experiencing hardships right now coming into December, and they're really going to need these last 4 games to ride out going into the playoffs. Yeah, last 4 games. Yeah. That's what they're going to have to do at this point. What do you guys think? Do Todd Bowles getting credit? No. Whatever it is there a free agent pickup you think they should do? You're going to probably see more Sean Tucker coming into this, which people aren't going to be mad to see. Oh, what do you guys think? I'm Blake Anthony. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do is entirely up to you. Thank you guys. God bless, and see you next time. Tune in for the Real Reels, and it was at that moment coming up later sometime this week. See you guys. Peace.